Hello and welcome to the British Gaming Podcast for the 14th of July 2015. With me today is Richie.
Hello.
And Terry.
Hey.
And no special guests because we're having a classic episode today.
Back to our British roots.
Ah, yes, we're not going multicultural today.
Did I mention I'm part German?
No, you didn't. In fact, in the entirety of the time I've known you, you've never brought that up.
Oh, that's because I'm not.
Ah, that would be why.
Sorry, just thought I'd break the flow of that Britishness there.
Lovely. So we've got a few things to talk about today. First of all, unfortunately, Iwata has passed away, one of the president of Nintendo and one of the greatest contributors to the art form of video games. Ken Masters, one of the oldest video game characters, has been redesigned. Richie finally played some goddamn Arkham.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, the Batgirl DLC is out for Arkham Knight, and some reviews have come in on that. We've got the release date for Disney Infinity 3. There is a crossover comic between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. And then we've got some questions. I assume someone's got the viewer questions uploaded and ready, because I haven't.
Yeah. Totally.
Totally.
Okay, Richie, you've now taken responsibility for the viewer questions. Thank you.
All right, I'm on it.
So, let's kick off with the first one we mentioned. Satoru Iwata, president of Nintendo, died unfortunately on the 11th of July at the age of 55. A battle with cancer, it seems, a bile duct growth, if we want to be specific. Pretty devastating news, really.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard to know what to say to these kind of things. It's a dark disease. It's a horrible disease. And I mean, from such a big icon as well.
I mean, his contribution to video games as a whole, I struggle to think of people who would rival that. I mean, you've got, obviously, Miyamoto. But, you know, this guy was there at the start, went from being a programmer right the way through to a president of a company. I mean, that's quite a jump in your lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, the man was a genius, really. There's no doubt about it, is there? Also, ever since he did unfortunately pass away, there's been sort of people writing tributes to what he's done, just what he's accomplished. I mean, as you say, he was a man, he came from nothing, basically. He worked his way literally from the bottom of Nintendo to literally the top.
Yeah.
He was an inspiration, easily.
You can't really get more of a success story than that.
No, certainly not.
It just makes me wonder, obviously people are talking about successors, etc., which personally I think is a little early to be talking about that. I know they're a company, they need to get up and running.
It's a job that needs to be filled. Something like a role like president, you can't really leave open, but they must have had a plan in place. They must have known. Someone must have known. Like, the public didn't really seem to know, but they must have known internally.
Well, there was definitely a problem because a year ago he had an operation for the same bile duct growth.
So, yeah, that was around sort of E3 time, wasn't it?
Yeah, he skipped E3 because of it.
I think in regards to the whole kind of plan thing, I mean, I think these kind of contingency plans in companies are sort of put into place for if a successor needs to be put into place for any host of reasons, like aside from something as tragic as this, you know, another reason like if he decided to quit or something like that.
I suppose they would have to have a contingency plan, but at the same time, they can't piss all over his grave, can they? They have to allow a bit of grace time to show a bit of respect, and they probably do have a plan waiting to go. They're just waiting for the right time to unveil it.
Not only that, but it seems to me like they thought this thing was maybe gone and beaten to a degree. I mean, you look at E3, which was only recently, the Nintendo Direct they did, and he's, you know, full on in there with his, you know, Muppet version of himself and everything. You know, palling around, no sign of anything being unusual.
Yeah, but I think that's less to do with the sort of the disease and things like that. That's just more just him all over, isn't it? That's just who he is. I don't think even if during that Nintendo Direct, obviously we wouldn't know, but if he was on death's door, he'd still be exactly the same.
Well, there was that quote of his, which a lot of people have been bringing up, where he was saying, "It on my business card, it says I'm the president of a company. In my mind, I'm a game developer, and in my heart, I'm a gamer."
Yeah, and that is a fantastic quote, and it's something that we could all aspire to be, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Great man. Great man and a big loss.
Yeah. Naturally, our respects and our condolences. Let's not dwell on it too much, because this is usually quite a fun podcast. Instead, let's angrily rip into the redesign of Ken Masters.
Before you do that, can I
Yes.
just one final thing on him? I think my favourite thing, because obviously there's been a lot of information about all the things he's done. People have listed all that. I think my favourite thing, and the thing I owe him the most, is I don't know if you've read it, about how he compressed all the code for Pokemon Gold and Silver. And apparently they were struggling to fit it all in the 2 megabyte cartridge that they had for it. And he came along and sort of redid all the code and sort of worked through and debugged it all. And that was because of him that they managed to fit Kanto as well as Johto on the cartridge. He freed up so much space, they put a whole extra region in. And
Jesus.
those Pokemon games are my favourite Pokemon games. So I owe him a lot of respect for that, because they were absolute classics by a mile.
The man was a goddamn genius.
He really was.
There's no disputing that.
But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Right.
Yeah. I assume, seeing as I sent you both the link a few days ago, that you've both taken a look at the redesign of Ken.
Yeah, what the hell?
I've seen it in passing.
Yeah, they've basically turned around and said he's not going to look like a Ryu clone anymore, which I can get, but it's changed the core of the character. I mean, maybe it's the shots we're looking at, but his skin seems to be darker, and his hair is like luminescent highlighter pen yellow instead of blonde. The way
that's definitely a dye job going on there.
Oh, meow.
That's a radioactive man job going on there. It just looks like an entirely different character.
His eyebrows do not match his hair colour as well.
Oh, yeah.
No,
not
but
that
they never have.
Not that it makes a difference, but, you know.
They never have.
No, I suppose not.
No. It's, people are like, yeah, it's a Ryu clone, etc., but it's sort of like one of those partnerships and one of those rivalries that probably shouldn't be tampered with. Like, that's what made it fun. If you wanted to, have a match on Street Fighter and you wanted it to be relatively even, you would pick clone characters. Like, Ryu versus Ken is like every big brother and little brother duking it out in their bedroom. It's the classic showdown, and I'm just really annoyed that they were like, oh, we want to make him more than a palette swap. He was already more than a palette swap.
Maybe not originally, but once you sort of looked into the character of it, he wasn't, was he?
Exactly. And, like, even his movesets and things like that, they started changing around and differentiating him from Ryu in ways that were still sort of true to the core concept. This, to me, is... because I play Ken in pretty much every Street Fighter. This, to me, has really put me off Street Fighter V.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Sega took like one of Sonic's rivals and changed. Oh wait, Knuckles.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if Sega took Sonic and oh wait.
It's all a bit Spyro, this, isn't it? He's looking a bit Spyro.
Oh no.
Oh dear. I'll tell you what, there is one thing that's worse than what they did to Ken Masters. Bomberman Zero.
Oh.
That went straight over my head, so I'm going to Google it.
Okay, you're familiar with normal Bomberman, right?
I'm familiar with... Oh, holy shit.
You can hear the moment the image loaded.
What in the hell is that? That's not fun. Surely this is a joke, surely.
No, it's an Xbox 360 launch title.
Wow. Well, I didn't know that.
Someone thought that would be a good idea.
Don't you wish you got a 360 on launch day?
Someone got paid to do that. Think about that for a minute.
Someone got paid to make Bomberman Iron Man.
Probably not paid very much looking at all the ratings and scores, but they still got paid for it.
Well, they didn't know what the reviews were going to be when they hired the guy to do the redesign. They might have thought that it was going to sell millions, and
Yeah,
paid
because
him
redesigns of video game characters have always worked so well up until now. That was a flawless formula they worked with there.
So,
That's
yeah.
the point. Has there actually ever been a successful relaunch, redesign? Actually, then again, Tomb Raider.
I was going to
did
say,
okay.
yeah, took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say Tomb Raider is probably the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they messed up Crash Bandicoot, giving him tribal tattoos and making him ride on the back of rock monsters.
But I
yeah,
mean,
what the hell happened to
Lara
Aku
Croft
Aku?
Sorry, you both went at the same time, and I didn't
That's
hear
right.
either of you as a result.
Terry's is more interested in mine. I'm just being pervy about Lara Croft.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounded pretty interesting, but no, I was just gonna say, what the hell did they do to Aku Aku as well?
I thought it was a new character.
Yeah, me too. Like they changed his voice and everything. I thought it was just like another mask, like how there's all those elemental masks in Wrath of Cortex.
Yeah, no, it didn't make sense. It seemed to be changing something for the sake of changing something. You mentioned Sonic Boom. Good God, what were they thinking?
Yeah, but to be fair, if you look at like 75% of Sonic games, it's a case of good God, what were they thinking? And this is coming from the guy that has the Sonic and Knuckles tattoo.
Yeah, especially as we've been discovering recently, Sonic Labyrinth and Tails Sky Patrol.
And I'll be discovering whatever the next one is, no doubt.
Yeah, because the next race is Sonic CD and you're going down.
Oh, no doubt about that.
So-
I'll give it my best.
That
Shall
said,
we explain a little bit for anyone who hasn't watched the races yet?
yeah, we can do. It's a bit of a plug, but
No way. There's no way that no one has watched these races yet. Everyone has seen them. They're too good not to.
Richie very
And
confident.
I'm not even being sarcastic.
Basically, we've been racing each other through video games. We've done Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 so far. The loser of the race has to do a forfeit game. I lost the first game and had to do Sonic Labyrinth.
Lost badly, I add, dramatically.
Thanks, Terry. Then Terry got his goddamn ass whooped like a whiny little bitch in the second game.
Shit, that was so close. That was seconds difference.
He got his ass whooped like a whiny little bitch. And he's had to do Tails Sky Patrol. Now for the third...
AKA Flappy Tails.
Yeah. Now for the next race, Richie is joining us, which he was supposed to do for Sonic 2, but I don't know where the hell he was when it actually came time.
It was in-law time. In-law time, I'm afraid.
I see. Priorities, right. Okay. So Sonic CD, it will be a three-way race. So that's going to be interesting. Probably going to be up in the next week or two, I should imagine.
Awesome.
But one redesign on the note of Sonic that did go down okay, at least with me, was Sonic Adventure. Like when they first revealed Sonic Adventure and the new sort of taller Sonic with the green eyes and the longer spines and everything, that I was okay with.
Yeah, I think that kind of fit in with the sort of like whole attitude thing that they're trying to promote with like Sonic getting dialogue and stuff like that. I mean, like for me personally around the time, like a lot of pop culture was around attitude-y stuff. I mean, I was a wrestling fan around then, and wrestling fans, anyone who's watching will know that sort of era was like known as the Attitude Era, where everything was just like, you know, screw the authority and things like that.
Thank you very much for the flashbacks of Scotty 2 Hottie. I didn't need those.
Just to sidetrack, there isn't actually a DVD, WWF Attitude. If you haven't watched it, you should watch that. It's really good. It'll make you feel like you're 10 again, honestly.
There's also a terrible video game by the same name.
Yeah, but we won't go into that.
Oh, I loved that game. Like, well, it's terrible, but it's nostalgic.
If it
Got
wasn't...
nothing on No Mercy.
Thank you, Richie. I was about to say, if it wasn't No Mercy, it wasn't worth playing.
WrestleMania 2000 was alright.
Yeah.
No Mercy is basically WrestleMania 2002.
Yeah, it basically is. You're right.
I don't know. On SmackDown, just bring it. You could play as Fred Durst. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I didn't know that.
All right, in WWF No Mercy, create a character mode had Hadouken / Kamehameha poses, so I could have Goku versus Ryu versus Ken in the ring through custom characters.
That must have taken ages to actually get those designs right.
Oh god, yeah. And Goku ended up with just flat hair because screw it.
So basically, he was Dragon Ball Evolution Goku.
Oh God, he was.
As good as No Mercy was, actually, I think the best story mode a wrestling game ever had was SmackDown 2.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that one?
Oh
that
yeah.
had a really interesting sort of backstage thing to it, and you could get attacked backstage, and that was probably the best one.
When
That
we
was
unpacked
really
for this move, I
Possible
opened
Let's Play.
potential. Well, when we moved here, I opened up all of my games and that, and I was just checking that the actual discs and that were in them, because some of them have gone walkabouts. Opened up the SmackDown 2 case, and SmackDown 1's disc was in the manual.
Ah, classic.
Yeah, so for some reason I put both games in the same case.
Weirdly enough, I bought a copy of SmackDown 1 from Cash Converters one day, and it had a copy of SmackDown 2 in the manual for that, as well as a SmackDown 1 disc.
What's going on? Some sort of SmackDown conspiracy.
No, I've done the same thing with Theme Park. I opened up my PlayStation 1 Theme Park, and Theme Park World was in the manual.
That is odd.
Nice.
I don't know, I don't think it's so much odd, I think I'm just seeing a pattern developing.
Laziness.
Yeah, we got way off track.
What were we even talking about?
Attitude, Sonic Redesign, because I went into Attitude Era.
Although, just to point out, there was something that was streaming on Twitch. I don't know if it's still going or not, because I was kind of watching it, but stopped. I made Richie aware of it, and I think he might still be watching it. It's a live stream of computer-controlled wrestling characters, but they've all been, like, create a character mode made, and they're, like, really intricate, like Spider-Mans and Batmans and stuff, all duking it out.
Oh, is this Salty Bet?
Probably.
I still watch that sometimes, actually.
Yeah, it seems
really
like
good.
More interesting than actual wrestling, because, like, it is computer controlled, so you don't know who's gonna win anything.
Yeah, that's all done through Mugen, isn't it? Which is like a...
No,
yeah.
not that. Mugen's a fighting game engine from, like, 1997 for the uninitiated.
Am I thinking of something else, then?
You are. This is done with, like, WWE 14 on, like, PlayStation 3, and they just record the matches through a capture card, or rather live stream the matches through a capture card.
Sorry, no, I was getting mixed up. No, I haven't watched that.
No.
I don't watch that.
You need to take a look at them. They're, like, really intricately detailed custom characters of, like, superheroes and stuff, and they're all in anime characters, and they duke it out, and it's really quite interesting. I should get back into watching it, and I should remember the name of it. I think it's called something like BGB or something like that, but yeah.
Isn't that us, BGB?
Yeah.
British Gaming Blog. Yeah, that is us as well. We should start like a BGB federation, you know? But no, Terry, we're not actually doing that.
Oh, buy the spandex and everything.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing that. Yeah, so let's look at the topic list and see where we were.
Yeah, spandex aside.
I found it. Video Game Championship Wrestling.
Thank you. Video Game Championship Wrestling. So it'd be VCW?
VGCW.
VGCW. Oh, nice. I stand corrected. Yeah, VGCW. Unexpected plug for them. Go have a look.
I definitely will.
Can you imagine if they had like an audience? Like, imagine them trying to chant that, like VGCW. It's just like it'd be a bit long-winded.
Yeah, that'd be a bit much. Well, on the topic of spandex, Richie finally played some Arkham Asylum. I understand you've not finished it yet.
No, I've only played about an hour or so, because that's all the time I've had to play it since I started. But
you
know what?
Shit.
You know what? I was really pleasantly surprised. I went into it with a completely neutral head, saying, everyone thinks this is a fantastic game. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be good. But I'm actually really loving it. It's really good fun. It's been a long time since I've played a game where sort of hand-to-hand combat is key.
I told you, right? I
it's
told
really,
you.
It's really good fun. Getting a combo on someone is really satisfying when it does the whole slow motion thing and you twat them in the face, and really, really satisfying. No,
I love how you described that.
I appreciate you buying it for me. I'm having a great time with it so far.
I was almost really, because at the time you were so on the fence, I was almost really cruel. I almost got City and Origins as well, and I thought, no, I'm going to overwhelm him. So I didn't. I just got you to 1.
Well, once this is over, I may have to. We'll see.
Well, it gets quite interesting in some of the later fights, and also in Arkham City, where you can get like 75 hit combos.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Have you been in any of the challenge rooms yet?
No, I don't think I haven't seen any of them yet, so I'm guessing I haven't got that far. The
It's,
one thing that surprised me the most about the game actually is I was expecting it to be, because I mean I don't really read comic books much, as you know, and I
Yeah.
wasn't really expecting much from sort of a Batman story. I was expecting a bit of standard Batman, like the Joker's the bad guy, you have to go and stop him. But I quite like the whole concept of the sort of the insane asylum and him
It is
controlling
the
it.
Joker's the bad guy, Batman's got to stop him.
Well, you know what I mean, but there's a bit more to it. There's a bit more intricate than just you go and chase him down and beat him up. There's the whole plot story to it of being
You
trapped
have very
in the
low
asylum.
expectations of comic books.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I went into it kind of like as someone who doesn't read comic books, with the mindset of I didn't really expect too much because I didn't really know what to expect.
Read Batman Hush. It's like by far the best Batman story ever.
You buy that
Dude,
for me as well, I will.
Don't overwhelm me with so much Batman.
Batman's awesome.
Yeah, see, when I first played it was around a time when The Dark Knight was like popular in cinemas like everywhere, and I thought it was going to be like a movie tie-in. And then I played, I was like, okay, it's definitely not a movie tie-in.
That's
Thank
kind
God
of
for
what I
that.
was expecting. Actually, that's kind of what I was expecting.
Mm.
I
mean, Batman Begins had
I
its
was
own
expecting
game.
a bit cheesy, but it's not so far. I mean, maybe it gets cheesy, but it doesn't seem to be yet.
What do you think of the voice acting? Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles from the Batman animated series.
Yeah, no, the voice acting's fantastic. Do you know what? When you kind of have the interactions with people, sort of you walk up to someone and it says press Y to talk to them or whatever it is, kind of reminded me of like the sort of the Shenmue style dialogue where it's still gameplay, but it's like trying to be a cutscene at the same time. And it looks very unnatural, but at the same time it's quite endearing and quite charming, and I like it. Maybe that's
a pretty decent comparison, actually. I'd never thought of Shenmue when
Well,
playing...
that was the first place my brain went to. As soon as I had my first dialogue with someone, I was like, this looks awfully familiar. It looks exactly like the same style. Obviously, it's a bit more advanced, and the face does move a bit more than Shenmue, where the sort of the jaw just goes up and down. But
Have you seen Scarecrow at all yet?
no.
No. We need to talk again once you've played some Scarecrow sections.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And the bit where Batman is Luke Skywalker's father, that's a good bit.
Ah, spoilers.
Terry.
Sorry.
What's no point me playing it now?
Sorry, Sam.
Stall it.
Arkham's a bit in trouble. At least I think so. Because Arkham Knight, obviously the Batgirl DLC is out for Season Pass holders today. At least I believe it's today, and then it's next week for anyone who doesn't have the Season Pass. So the reviews are coming in, saying it's not very good, and it's not very long. Which is kind of what I was expecting.
That's what she said.
Well, the Harley Quinn DLC took me about 12 to 15 minutes to beat.
So, like the Harley Quinn DLC in Arkham City.
No. This was like half the content, if that, of the Arkham City Harley Quinn stuff.
And that was short enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's very brief. You don't really get to do much. And sort of, it just ends. Like, Nightwing shows up, you beat him up, end of DLC. Very out of left field, you end up thinking, what, that's it? I didn't pay extra for the pre-order Red Hood DLC. Didn't come with my £70 edition of the game. What? It comes with the £55 edition, but not with the £70 edition. I'm allowed to be miffed. Not so miffed when I looked up a video of it because I got curious and saw that the entire thing, including cutscenes, only took the guy 10 minutes and a few seconds to beat. This Batgirl DLC, they're charging £5.79, or if you've already paid 32 quid for the season pass, you're an idiot. And apparently it can be beaten in an hour tops if you do all the collectibles as well. If you don't do all the collectibles, you're looking at about 40 minutes.
Okay, with this Arkham Knight launch, have apart like you've played through the game, you know, I've watched your review, but for the sake of anyone who hasn't watched it yet, by the way, you should. Was it a good game in the end? Like, despite all of the launch issues, and there's so many issues that they've
There
had,
are.
how was it?
How's the best way to summarize it? It's sort of like the Metal Gear Solid 4 of the Arkham franchise. It's not a jumping on point. Like, if you've played and enjoyed Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, then yeah, this is kind of essential. If you haven't, then this isn't the place to start. Go back and play Asylum like Richie's doing. It even makes some references to Arkham Origins. You don't need to have played Arkham Origins to like or understand Knight, but there are definitely things that you will appreciate and notice if you have played Origins. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, the Origins...
Metal Gear Solid 4 analogy is perfect. I mean, from what I've played of Arkham Knight so far, I think I'm only a quarter of the way through, but I get what you mean.
And, like, because, like, Asylum and City you have to have played and beaten, including the side quests, because they come up. But, like, the Origins stuff that comes up, it's sort of like, you know, if you watch all of Kevin Smith's New Jersey films, there's little things that link through from, like, Clerks to Mallrats to Chasing Amy, etc.
Yeah.
The Origins reference feel a lot more like that than anything else. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Thankfully, the Batgirl DLC has no Batmobile stuff in it. It's just pure, old school.
See, I've been enjoying the Batmobile so far.
Yeah, it kind of ends up feeling like they're forcing it down your throat after a while.
Batmobile sounds cool.
It is, but they overuse it.
Have either of you guys ever played Distance or Nitronic Rush?
Yes, because you kept cramming that down my throat.
No, I can't say I have.
I kind of feel, in terms of the way it handles, it kind of reminds me of those games a little bit.
By the way, didn't you do a video on Nitronic Rush?
Oh yeah, my freebie of the month. I still haven't decided on what my next freebie of the month is going to be. I've already crammed Cave Story down your guys' throats, so I think maybe I'll leave that one out, perhaps.
But you haven't crammed it down everyone else's throat who visits the website and the channel, so there's always that.
Content.
But just go back to Arkham Knight for a second. The reason I think it's in trouble, obviously the Batgirl DLC has been delayed for PC until they get the main game fixed, which is probably the right move to make, but it does suck for people who already bought the game and already bought the Season Pass on PC, because now they're just missing out and waiting and twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah.
But they're trying so hard to sell this Season Pass that they have today revealed a 1989 Michael Keaton Batman skin, the 1989 Batmobile, and then a whole bunch of other skins, including like 1 year later skin for Robin. So he's in like his favorite comic costume, bar the Red Robin costume for me. That they just seem to have gone, oh crap, we've screwed up this launch, we've screwed up the DLC plan, nobody's buying the Season Pass, nobody thinks the Season Pass is value for money, considering the story DLC on its own is less than £6 versus a £32 Season Pass, you idiots.
Yeah, what were they thinking with that sort of price for a Season Pass? Like, that's the highest price Season Pass I've ever heard of. I don't think there's been anything anywhere close to it.
Yeah, and all week the Arkham Origins Season Pass on PSN has been like 75% off. Season Passes go half price eventually.
Yeah, in terms of Season Pass, for me, I got the Season Pass on PC, and it cost me about £7, and this was before launch. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I know, you paid like 25 all in for the base game and the Season Pass.
Exactly.
Which is £7 less than we would have to pay for just the Season Pass.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But look where it got me, though, so, you know.
You look at Season Pass content, and yeah, if you were going to buy every piece of DLC, usually a Season Pass is cheaper, by a bit. But every time I've bought a Season Pass, there have been bits I've not wanted, and it'd have been cheaper for me to just wait until everything's out, and then just purchase individually the bits I actually wanted.
Yeah, or in my case, just just get the standard base game and then wait for the Game of the Year edition to go ridiculously cheap on Steam, like I did with Arkham City.
Yeah, or that. You want to hear what they did for Arkham Origins?
Go on.
It never got a single Game of the Year award, so they went with Complete Edition. And I hate that wording because that implies the original release was incomplete.
When has
Yeah,
not getting Game of the Year awards ever really stopped anyone, though?
that's
hasn't.
true.
They tend to do it anyway. It's not so much a label of like an award anymore, is it? It's more sort of like this is the complete game.
New
As you
Vegas
say.
Ultimate Edition, you
Well,
know.
yeah, precisely,
Yeah.
precisely.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to how ridiculous the price of that season pass is when you look at the prices of EA game season passes being like 15 quid.
I think it's a testament to how ridiculous the price is when you consider in a year's time we will have an Arkham Knight Complete Edition. And no, I'm not going to assume it's going to get a Game of the Year edition. I'm sorry, it just won't. And I'm going to get pulled up on that in a year's time when it does. But
Yeah.
I'm writing this down.
the thing is, you probably actually are.
I'll forget about it then. Don't worry.
Okay, you forget what you had for breakfast. So.
Yeah.
At any rate, the complete edition when it comes out will probably be like $34.99. You know, so you may as well just wait a year and buy it on disc for about the same price as just the season pass.
I don't think I've
even
ever
think it'd
bought a
be
season
that
pass
high.
in my life.
I bought a season pass for Arkham Origins and deeply regretted it.
Why though? Why would you do that?
Because they said 2 pieces of story DLC, and what we got was some challenge maps masquerading as story DLC, and then one actually pretty decent piece of story DLC. But I should have waited and just got Cold Cold Heart on its own.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you about to say, Terry?
I was just gonna say now that like Rocksteady, I mean, like I don't know this, so people might say, "Oh, spoiler alert!" But I just get this from the trailers and from the promotionals. Apparently, it's like the final game in the franchise.
It is, yes. They
yeah.
start the trailer with "This is how it happened. This is how the Batman died."
Exactly. So I just wanted to put that out there before I say this because it's not technically a spoiler. I'm kind of wondering if Rocksteady, like, are they owned by Warner Brothers or are they just like subcontracted by them? Because I'd like to see what they could do in terms of game releases if they're not tied to Warner Brothers publisher bullshit.
I have no idea. I just know that Warner Brothers have the licenses for all of the DC characters.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking like a new IP or something, like what Naughty Dog did when they couldn't use the Crash Bandicoot IP anymore. So they're like, hey, let's make Jak and Daxter and Uncharted.
I have no idea, but there were rumours, which we talked about the week that you weren't here, due to the Superman Easter eggs in Arkham Knight. Everyone's assuming, because they tend to tease their next game with Easter eggs in the Arkham titles. It's just what they've always done. So people are thinking maybe Superman is next. We just have no idea. It'll be
Superman
interesting.
64, the sequel. Let's have it.
Whatever Rocksteady do, I trust it to be good.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I trust Rocksteady as developers. I just think Warner Brothers are just fucking everything up for their releases. I mean,
As publishers, yes.
yeah.
Yeah. At any rate, let's look at some other releases from some other publishers and some other Batman stuff. One of the few things I was excited about out of San Diego Comic-Con, there is a crossover comic between Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the way, with art by Freddie E. Williams II. Some of you might know him from his DC runs on Captain Atom, when the DC New 52 launched, or alternatively his art on a comic called The Movement, another DC title which was written by Gail Simone. Batman meeting the Ninja Turtles, though, that's going to be a fun read.
Right, well, I know nothing about comics. We've already been over this. So is this a good thing? Is he a good person for this?
I can take Freddie E. Williams. He gets a lot of respect in my books because he wrote a book which I swear by called The DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, and as an indie comic creator who draws his comic pages digitally, that has really helped me. I know there are a lot of people who don't like his style, but I'm not with them on that.
Is it because he does it digital that they don't like it?
There are some purists, but what you have to realize is that any comic will be digital at some stage during its creation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like every medium really is digital in some way. It's like there's a lot of people in film production that believe you should only ever shoot on film reel and not like to a digital camera with an SD card.
Yeah, it's called people standing in the way of progress.
Called hipsters is what they're called.
Scared old men, usually, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably, considering Batman's in there, I'm guessing it's not going to be our 1990s cartoon Turtles.
No, well, I mean, from what I hear about the Ninja Turtles comics, I've got a friend who reads them religiously. Apparently, it's pretty damn dark. Like, it's really pretty intense. So
Yeah, we're several months after the event, so this isn't a spoiler, but Bebop and Rocksteady smashed Donatello's shell in and killed him.
Oh, you just took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
He just got brutally murdered. It was weird. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting mishmash. I'm looking forward to reading it.
Although it would be kind of interesting to see like Adam West Batman in comic form with like 1990s Ninja Turtles as well, just for
Oh right, I was about to, when you said Adam West Batman, I was like, you do know there is a comic called Batman 66, which is Adam West Batman.
I know. I heard about that I actually heard about it after I heard about Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet.
Ah, okay, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin Smith.
Thank you, Kevin Smith, for a lot of things. You know that guy's going to be involved on, like, because apparently Ben Affleck is going to be writing, directing, and starring in the solo Batman film. And him and Kevin Smith go way, way back. Kevin Smith being a giant Batman fan. You know Smith is just going to be over Affleck's shoulder while he's writing that script, like, hey, make Batman say glory hole.
Oh dear.
He will. It's Kevin Smith. This is the same Kevin Smith who went back to the Year One story in his miniseries The Widening Gaia. Went back to the Year One story. You know the classic scene where Batman blows up the wall and he stood there like, you have all feasted on this city for too long, blah, 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 blah. And he makes Batman tell another character called Baphomet, when he set off the explosives, he didn't realize how much heat it would generate, and it caused him to have a bladder spasm. In other words, Batman admitting that he pissed himself during the events of Year One.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, and loads of people got so pissed off and were like sending him death threats and stuff.
I have the comics.
Right. Yeah, no, I listened to his podcast where he discussed like his reasons for that, and it's basically like he came up with like really in-depth scientific sort of reasoning as to why that happened.
Yeah, although originally he just asked a firefighter friend, who's like, hey, anything weird happen to you when you go in the burning building? And apparently the firefighter was like, yeah, you usually piss yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you do what? You piss yourself. Yeah. We're getting very Batman-y. Let's move away from the Batman. What else did we have on the list for today? Disney Infinity 3 has a release date of the 28th of August. That's going to suck some more of my money. This time, they've done like a pure Disney theme with the original. Then number 2 was like a Marvel-themed pack. And then this time they're going very Star Wars. Apparently, they've got a contract to do one Infinity game a year for at least 5 years. So we're getting annual releases, and we're getting 5 of them.
So, what, 5 more, or...?
No, 5 in total, as a minimum. So we've got 2 more years of these coming out after August.
I wonder what else they can do.
Well, they're probably gonna, because they've already announced some, like, toy box stuff, which will revisit, like, the pure Disney and then the Marvel. So they're probably going to do some callback stuff. They'll probably reuse motifs. I mean, you look at how many Disney and Marvel characters they haven't used. Heck, even how many Pixar characters they haven't used yet. You know, they could do just a Pixar pack.
Pixar pack would be good.
That would be.
They've not ruled out doing Kingdom Hearts characters as well, which would be an interesting inversion.
I was going to say Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I wonder what worlds are going to include in that. I mean, we've already got Tangled confirmed.
Tangled confirmed. Mount Olympus confirmed. because you see him fighting the Rock Titan, and one of the
And-
mountains you see him climbing in the trailer has like the swirls and that of Hercules' world.
And blatantly, they're going to do Frozen.
And they can't not do Frozen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can't let that one go.
I think it'd be interesting. You get. I just caught that. You're a bastard. I think it'd be very interesting to have Sora go to a Wreck-It Ralph world, because Wreck-It Ralph 2 has been announced. John C. Reilly. Yeah, John C. Reilly confirmed it in an interview. He's signed on for the voice acting.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good news. I'm excited about that.
You know what
Same.
I'm interested to see? Tron / Wreck-It Ralph kind of crossover. Like the Tron machine is like put in a Wreck-It Ralph arcade or something.
Yeah, probably Kingdom Hearts is maybe the closest you're going to get to that, because I've had a Tron world in several Kingdom Hearts games. And I can't see them not doing a Wreck-It Ralph world in Kingdom Hearts 3. And then, like, if Sora could visit multiple video game worlds, considering he already travels around a lot of different worlds, that would just get, like, world travel inception.
True.
Yeah.
Still, I think I would really like to see like the Tron Legacy game grid on like PS4, Xbox One quality. You know, I think that just looks so damn pretty. I know they've already done it on 3DS, but that's not looking as good as it would on the new consoles.
I don't know. I was very, very impressed with Dream Drop Distance, especially the Tron world. It looked really, really good considering the hardware it was on. Yeah. It's gorgeous. You've got a 3DS, right?
Yeah, no, I do have it. It's just I've been revisiting number 1, and Agrabah is irritating the hell out of me, so I've been putting it on pause for a while. I have played through it once before on the PS2, but I'm doing the HD version, and RE Chain of Memories, which I haven't finished at all yet, then 2, which I've done on PS2, and then, yeah, I'm not going to ramble anymore.
No, you're redoing the series, you're going to do it in order.
Yeah.
Which, if that was the case, you should have started with Birth by Sleep.
Well, I'm doing it in release order rather than canonical order.
Where does the 3DS Kingdom Hearts fall into the series then? How does that relate to it?
After 2, before 3.
Could I jump into that without having played the others?
No.
Gameplay-wise, yes. Story-wise, no.
Alright, never mind then.
You would be like, who's that guy? What's going on? Why is this important? Yeah, sorry, no. Why would
Richie, do you have a PS3?
No.
Get a PS3, they're like 60 quid.
Yeah, I know. I keep saying that.
There's
so many games.
So many of them.
So many games on the PS3 I missed out on, so that is on my to-do list.
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts HD collections should be near the top of that list.
Yeah, the thing is, before those HD collections, you had to get so many different platforms to be able to play through the whole franchise. You had to have a PS2, a 3DS, and a PSP.
Dude, have you seen the photos of my Kingdom Hearts collection?
Yes, I know, it's ridiculous.
There's PlayStation 2 games in there. There's obviously Chain of Memories was Game Boy Advance. There are PSP games. There are 3DS games. There are DS games. Yeah, it's stupid. It really is. Also, while you're on the PlayStation 3, Richie, get the Ratchet and Clank games. Skip All for One, because that was crap. Q-Force, I would say, is optional as well.
Well, do you remember when we did that list recently of games that I needed to play? Maybe you should do me one for the PS3 as well.
Yeah, I will write you a list, and I will mail it to you. As long as you actually get a frickin' PS3.
Well, I'll head into the city one day this week and I'll have a look. I'll head into CEX and see if they've got one. I'm sure they will.
Oh, I'll have hundreds of them, yeah.
Yeah.
They've probably got, like, Terry's old one still.
Yeah. If you see an old 60 gig model that's upgraded to 320 gig, don't get that because it's on its last legs.
Noted.
If anyone from that CEX store is listening, I apologise.
Console.
Yeah, it basically stopped working after like 5 hours, so obviously when they were testing it for 45 minutes, it wasn't going to zonk out then. The CPU fan was messed up. It can be fixed with a CPU fan replacement, but I just couldn't be bothered, and I want a slim one anyway because they look a bit nicer.
Have you ever knowingly sold any defective software or hardware, Richie?
No, I don't sell anything. I'm really bad. I've got a whole stack of games downstairs that, to be honest, I could sell. They wouldn't get a lot for them because, I mean, they're all quite old Xbox 360 games. But, yeah, I never sell anything, so not knowingly, no.
You want to talk about being a hoarder? I'm sitting on 50 plus boxed Mega Drive
Oh
games.
yeah, no, I'm nothing compared to you by no means. But I mean, I don't sell anything. Never. I never ever sell games.
I
I've
can't
got-
sell anything. I'm a PC gamer.
You can
Resale's
now,
not an option.
as long as you don't play more than 2 hours.
True.
No, that's not reselling. That's getting a refund.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
But no.
You get your money back.
Yeah, I guess. Where were we? Oh, yes. You get a PS3, do it. There are a lot of really good exclusives that you need to play. The Uncharted trilogy, Ratchet and Clank we already covered. The Last of Us.
Yeah, I want to play that. And Heavy Rain, I want to play as well.
And do yourself a favour, skip Heavy Rain.
I've played
Yeah.
a bit of it before. It seemed alright.
Have you played LA Noire? That basically does everything right that Heavy Rain did wrong, in my opinion, anyway.
I've got LA Noire, actually. I've played a couple of hours of it, and then it's just one of these things that I just sort of put it down one day and never picked it up again. Not because I didn't like it, but just because I just did.
I've done that with BioShock about 7 times in a row.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough thing with Bioshock. A lot of people have told me this. It's a really tough game to get into. You have to be so patient with the first, 3 hours of it, but then after that, that's when it gets good.
I always get to the fishery, and I get given the camera, and that's usually where I put the game down.
Yeah, and yet you played through Final Fantasy 13 for 20 hours to get to the good bit on Disc 3.
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to deny that. I was an idiot.
Tell you what game I've done that with several times, the whole starting and stopping thing. I don't know if you ever played it. Overlord?
Oh, God, yes.
It's a
Raising
really,
Hell is
really
amazing.
good game. Really, really good series of games. I've only ever played the first one because I've never finished it. But that is one game that I must have started that about 4 or 5 times. I've actually got a game where I've got quite far into it now, but I don't know where to go next, so I kind of stopped playing it again.
GameFAQs.com.
Well,
Enter.
this is the thing. I do, every so often, I do kind of YouTube it. I do get back into it and YouTube it and find out where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, see, I have the same problem with Fallout 3. I still haven't finished that.
What?
How can you not finish Fallout 3?
You can skip half the game just by going straight to where your dad is as well.
Oh, yeah, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I'll do that this week.
Yeah, do. Please, by all
Yeah,
means.
I feel like I should, with all this hype around Fallout 4, I should probably see what the hype's about. I mean, I've had the Game of the Year edition of that and Ultimate Edition New Vegas for so long now.
I can't talk. I've never finished New Vegas. I've come very close, but I've never finished it.
I never finished New Vegas simply because it was so desolate. Like, you turn up to a new town, and there'd be 3 people you could actually interact with, and the rest were just window dressing.
I don't like it when games do I mean, I'm sure some people love it, but New Vegas had multiple endings, didn't it? And I just couldn't be bothered. I just couldn't be bothered to have to play through the ending several times and talk to different people and agree with one person over another and change the ending of the game.
Shadow the Hedgehog. This is the worst for multiple endings. There are,
I
think it's 5 different paths through the game.
Oh, I remember this.
Each of the 5 paths has a good and bad ending.
Oh, I
You
remember
need to
this.
see all 10 endings to then unlock the final path and see the true ending.
Ah.
Yeah, so that
did you
brings
do
us... No. I'm a
Really?
Sonic fan, I'm not a masochist.
You played through Sonic 06
I did.
twice, at
I
least.
Maybe a 3rd time if it ever comes up as a forfeit game in the races.
I don't have a capture card, so probably not. And I don't want to buy that game.
I was tempted to choose it for this one, but I don't own it. So,
So you've not got a capture card and you've not got the game.
well, if
Same,
it's gonna,
yeah.
I'm gonna end up playing whatever the forfeit game is, and so I probably do need to own it in some form.
You need to own a capture card too.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend the Elgato. It served me very well. Normal Elgato, not the Elgato 60 HD, because the 60 HD, you'll only be able to record current generation consoles through HDMI. You won't be able to go back. Like the Elgato I've got, you can get adapters for it to plug in older consoles through composite.
Sam, you sound like you're doing an advert right now. I just want to say for the record, we've not been paid by Elgato to promote their products as much as Sam sounds like we're plugging it.
However, if they want to, put some money in my bank account, I'm all for that. And I
Or
will
if they want to send me one to obviously then so I can talk about it afterwards. That would be okay too.
But not the 60 HD, guys. You screwed the pooch there. Okay, we need to record some older consoles. Give them the model before that. They're probably not friends with us now that I've said that.
No.
Yeah, you may have screwed our chances there.
Yeah, sorry. But it's true. If you need to record older consoles, then it's no good. Alternatively, I hear the HD PVR is okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, you can probably get them for around 60 to 100 is what you're looking at price-wise.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it could be worse. I mean, hell, you'd pay more for Arkham Knight plus the season pass.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we talked about like Richie's been playing Arkham Asylum recently. Apart from like Arkham Knight, what have you been playing recently, Sam?
Oh,
'Cause we have not talked about much about what we play personally. Like,
we have not. I started Styx, which is one of the PlayStation Plus games this month. Turns out I'm not very good at it. It's a stealth game. I'm really not very good at it.
I've watched you play Metal Gear Solid. I can vouch for that.
I have also been playing Drive Club PlayStation Plus Edition now that that's finally out. I talked about that a little bit on the previous podcast. I'm still crap at it. I try to drive like it's Burnout, and I nudge the other cars out of the way, and it gives me point penalties for it. I'm like, what?
Oh, is it more of a simulation than an arcade
Yeah,
game?
it is. It's more Gran Turismo than Burnout. So I don't get along with it very well. I should probably delete off my hard drive. Yeah, and admittedly, I did one practice run of Sonic CD.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I did a practice run of Sonic CD and got killed by the final boss.
Oh man, there's no hope for me.
Hey, you've had the game and the opportunity to practice all week.
See, I resisted the urge because I was thinking it would be a bit of a cheat and a bit unfair, and then you went and did it. So
Yeah, that was my
screw you.
logic. I thought it'd be more fun to go into it blind.
Well, it will be fun for you guys going through it blind. I'm sure the viewers will get a kick out of that. As for me, I probably remember the game about as well as I did anyway. Bear in mind, the practice playthrough I did during the week is sort of my 7th or 8th playthrough of Sonic CD, so I know it about as well as I'm probably ever going to.
To be fair, pretty much the formula of Sonic CD and all Sonic games of that era is just go right and don't die.
Go right, jump a bit, hit the fat man 8 times.
Yeah,
job's a good one.
So that's pretty much it, really. There's not really much of a complicated formula to it.
Oh, can I ask your guys' opinion? You've seen, obviously I don't live near enough to you for you to have seen me in person recently, but you've seen my Facebook photos as of late, yeah? With all my hair completely cut off. Like, really, really short.
Yes, your hair looks nice, okay?
Fishing for compliments.
I had a comment...
Really?
No. I had a comment from a colleague at work. Apparently, if I put on some weight, some considerable weight, I would look exactly like Jim Sterling right now.
To be fair, at least they said if you put on weight as a prefix.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just trying to sort of picture you and him side by side at the moment. I think what you should do when you edit the video for this is just like have a picture of you and him side by side for this part.
I'm too goddamn lazy for that.
Or just do it for the whole video, and then everyone's wondering
just
until they get to this
picture
point
of you
why.
together.
Everyone's like, hey, if they got Jim Sterling as a goddamn guest, he's pretty high profile for them. And they're like, no, they just talk about him like an hour in. That's it. So yeah, we'll let everyone else judge that then. We'll let the viewers judge. So Lupacillo and Kashoro Guy, let us know.
By the way, I just want to say for the record, I'm a big fan of Jim Sterling, despite the fact we just ripped on his weight.
He's a decent guy, yeah. I like his videos, but does not look healthy, is all I'll say. Richie, outside of Asylum, what have you been playing?
I've been playing quite a bit of Killing Floor 2, still in early access.
How is that compared to the first?
It's a very big graphical upgrade. There's a lot of improvements in that. I don't know how much you played the first one, but in the first game, you started every new sort of wave or round, or every round, I should say, with just a pistol. You didn't start with like a primary weapon, but in this game you do. Depending on your class, you start with a primary weapon, and then a pistol is a side weapon, which is I think is a fantastic thing. And you can now melee as well, which you couldn't do in the first one.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Because I remember the first one, it was basically an Unreal Tournament 2004 mod. I mean, you just look at the options menu and it's exactly the same, pretty much.
yeah. No, it's a big step up. You can tell that they've taken a lot of time on it. The graphics are a massive step up, and it runs really well. So yeah, if you're a bit on the fence about buying it, maybe wait until there's a bit more content if you're a bit unsure, because there's not much in it at the moment as it is early access.
Okay, I'm waiting.
There's updates coming. There's updates obviously coming forward.
See, I'll be more inclined to buy it if there's people to play it with. I mean, obviously I can play it with you, Richie, if you're up for that, and if you're up for getting it as well, Sam.
I'm waiting for more content.
Yeah, fair enough.
The biggest downside at the moment is they haven't implemented the ability to have like a private server. You can play open games. So, I mean, you can start a game with a friend, but anyone can join it at any point. That's the biggest downside. Not such a bad thing, because Killing Floor 2, and I've played quite a few public games, and it is fun playing with other people, but sometimes you want a private match. Sometimes it's just what you want to do, and you want to dick around a bit, but you can't do it yet. So is it... maybe hold off for that.
You've also been playing some Binding of Isaac, I see.
Yeah, how did you know?
Maybe that Let's Play video that you put up on the website.
Yeah, well, I've talked about it before. I'm a huge fan of Isaac, especially Rebirth. The original was good, but the remake is so much better.
I've not had a chance to watch it yet, for which I apologise.
So Rebirth is a remake and not a sequel then? I wasn't sure what the deal was with that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a remake of the original. Basically, I think the story goes that when the original Isaac came out, everything was written in Flash. And Isaac
Newgrounds game, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Yeah. And it became such sort of like a cult hit that he decided to rework it. And I don't know what language is written in now.
Sort of like Spelunky. Spelunky was originally a pixel arty, low-res, online free game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the game now, it allowed him to do everything he wanted to do in the original, but couldn't because he was constrained by Flash. So the amount of items is like several times as many. The gameplay's so much smoother. The original one had a lot of problems with lag and frame rate. If you had too many enemies on the screen, it would just drop, and the frame rate would tank. It really would. Even on the nicest PC, it would just tank. But this game's so much better, and there's DLC coming out for it this summer/autumn, I believe, where it's going to add like several hundred new items.
Jesus.
So I'm really looking for. I talk about it at the end of the podcast, at the end of my Let's Play, about how once that DLC comes out, I'll buy that as soon as it comes out, and it'd be quite interesting to do some sort of blind Let's Plays.
So I sounded like an advert, did I?
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. half blind to sort of... There'll be items I do know, but there'll be lots of items I don't know, and lots of new enemies and new rooms and things like that. Can I ask
you a question? Because the video, it looked like it went up this morning. I've gone to work, come home, pretty much gone straight on the podcast, so really haven't had a chance to watch it. But I noticed in the description it says no reset run. What exactly do you mean by that? I mean, I wouldn't be expecting to reset a game while running it anyway.
Well, the biggest thing about Isaac is that it's all randomly generated the whole way through. The rooms you get, the items you get, everything is randomly generated. So what... I suppose I take this from watching too many speedrunners, is I tend to keep resetting the first floor until I get a good item to start with.
Okay.
Because the whole point...
this is just taking what you're given instead of trying to game the random number generator.
Well, exactly. I mean, I've sometimes spent time resetting the start of a run, and I can sit and do that. I can sit and reset runs for 10 minutes before I get an item that's really sort of top tier. Whereas on this one, I was just kind of like...
skill in that.
I'll take whatever I get and run with it. And if I make it, I make it. And if I don't, I don't. So...
Okay. Don't tell us whether you make it or not, because I want to see. I want to see for myself. It's been Let's Play week here, really, because you've done your Isaac one. Terry started his Sky Patrol Forfeit. I've started... Yeah, I know. Finished my Sonic Labyrinth one. Yeah, at least I'm done, buddy. You've still got more to go.
Yeah, that's fine. I can deal with a bit more flappy tails. It's all good.
Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when it goes up.
Yeah.
We do have some viewer questions, because we mentioned last week that we would be taking questions from the comments and and going through them. So, Kashoro Guy, I think he left like 5 questions or so.
4.
Richie...
Hey, I never
4.
said what games I've been playing.
Okay, Terry, what games have you been playing?
I've been playing Hyrule Warriors.
Okay,
It's
that's
really...
nice, Terry.
Yeah, nice one, Terry. Well done.
So he posted 4
Thanks.
questions, and I gave you the responsibility of loading them up at the start of the podcast. I assume you've done that.
Yeah, I've got them here, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to lead us off with question 1?
Yeah, question 1 is, what are your thoughts on visual novels in general?
I made a visual novel game for work. It was around fraud, bribery, and corruption. So it was like someone being approached.
Ouch, your NDA.
Next
I
week on the
haven't said
podcast.
I haven't said anything
lost my
too
job last
specific.
week. So this podcast is my full-time job now.
Yeah, right. I wish.
Podcast every day.
But no. So building a visual novel gave me a much greater appreciation of them. It does suck that most of them tend to be dating ones. I would like to see some other things done with the genre.
Yeah, look, I can't really sort of say too much. I've only actually sort of co-op played through one of them with a few friends. We put on Hatterful Boyfriend on the TV.
Is that the pigeon one?
Yeah, it's a pigeon dating simulator. It's weird, and I don't know. Part of the fun of it was there was a group of us, and every time there was dialogue on the screen, like we all took turns and like do it. Like we were all assigned a character, and we had to like make a ridiculous voice for them. So that was like part of the fun of it. It's just doing silly stuff like that.
I assume you had to be a little bit drunk for that as well.
Weirdly, we were sober.
Okay.
Well, that says something about you.
I vaguely remember, Terry, us playing like a translated ROM of a Love Hina visual novel at one point.
Did we? Was that? Are you sure that was me?
Now I'm not so sure, but I do remember definitely playing a Love Hina one with someone, which had a terrible translation. It had lines like, "I give you happy time now."
And it goes back to porn, and this time it wasn't me that brought it up.
No, technically it was Kashoro Guy by asking about visual novels. So I blame him.
Well, I've never played any visual novel games, so I can't really comment on this one.
Okay, question 2 then, I guess.
Question 2. What are some really good, underrated / overlooked Sega Master System or Sega Saturn exclusives?
Okay. I'm gonna grab first dibs on this. Sega Master System. Castle of Illusion. The best version of Castle of Illusion is the Master System one, and I will continue to say that.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer it to the Mega Drive version. I prefer it to the 3D remake that recently came out. It's the version of the game I love.
Is that because of nostalgia or because of something more tangible?
I think the aesthetic is better. I'd be an idiot to say it has better graphics, because it technically doesn't. I think the aesthetic is better. I prefer the level design and layout. I think it's got a better length. I think the Mega Drive version outstays its welcome a little bit. And the boss fights I prefer. It's just, for me, the better version of the game. Likewise, Land of Illusion, which is essentially the exact same game, but with different levels. Sort of feels like an old school PC expansion pack, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Kenseiden on the Master System. That's Kenseiden. Really balls hard game. Like, you think NES games are hard. This is like, I can't get past like a couple of screens on it even now. I should play the game at some point on the channel. It's really brutal, but I love it for some reason. Don't know why. And of course there's the Master System Sonics, which are vastly underrated. So Master System Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and okay, go on, Sonic Chaos. That's okay. Sega Saturn exclusives. I'm sorry, Richie. Nights, Christmas Nights.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
I wouldn't say they're overlooked, though. I mean, they're kind of...
that's true.
Yeah, they do kind of get the recognition of the community as a whole, pretty much.
They had
maybe
HD
not
releases.
overlooked, but I'd say they are underrated, really, overall.
See, if you're going to talk about underrated Saturn games, I'm surprised you two aren't talking about Die Hard Arcade.
That was going to be my exact answer, would you believe?
Die Hard Arcade, Burning Rangers. Burning Rangers for definite. Technically, Sonic R isn't a Saturn exclusive, so we'll skip that. Uh, what was the name? Enemy Zero. That's pretty decent. That's a horror sort of, yeah. I'm gonna call it a horror game.
One thing I kind of liked on the Saturn, I wouldn't exactly call it an exclusive in a way, but in a way I do, is the remade version of Sonic 3D. Like, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed that, and I like the fact that the special stages were a throwback to the Sonic 2 special stages as well.
They were proper 3D versions of like the Sonic 2 styled special stages, but the music is different in the Saturn version, and I actually prefer the Mega Drive soundtrack.
I don't know, I like them both for different reasons.
You give me both versions, I'll take the Mega Drive version. Well, I don't need to make that choice, I've got them. Yeah.
Was Alex the Kid on the Sega Master System?
Yes.
Yeah, Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
I don't think you can really call that overlooked.
Well, no, I was just trying to think of any Sega Master, because I never had a Master System, so I was just trying to literally think of any Master System games. That was the only one I could think of.
Yeah, see, I had a Master System for a few years, and all I had was Sonic 1, Sonic Chaos. I didn't have Sonic 2, and it had Alex Kidd in Miracle World built into it. And by the way, trying to find a cartridge of that game is bloody difficult. Last time I saw one online was for about 50 quid, and this was before like retro games went ridiculously sky high in value.
Oh, I did actually on the Saturn and the Master System, one of the only consoles that I've ever played football games on. World Cup Italia 90 on the Master System, and on the Sega Saturn, Sega Worldwide Soccer 97.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good shout.
There is a 98 as well, but I never owned 98. Basically, the AI is so buggy that if you start a match in that game and you run full pelt directly up the middle of the pitch, every member of the opposing team will go to slide tackle you and miss completely. So you can just run straight up the middle. If you then stop in front of the goalkeeper, he will run out of the goal and bend over to pick the ball up, at which point you can just tap the ball lightly between his legs and into the goal.
That was one of those games though where you could have you could sort of really tackle someone and you like get different colours come out of your legs. Am I wrong in thinking that?
I think you are, because every time I took down someone hard, I just got a red card.
Well, in games back then, in football games, you could set the referees to blind, couldn't you? That was a thing in the late 90s football games. Maybe not necessarily in the Saturn games, but at least on the PlayStation 1 games, for definite.
Just like real referees.
Game.
Oh,
Exactly,
football pants.
The worst sports game for that. Have you guys ever heard of a game called Dead Ball Zone on the PlayStation 1?
I think I have.
Oh, yeah, I had that on PC.
That's amazing. There's a lot of blood.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, I've got the game sat here. I might actually put something up about that at some point. I'm committing myself to a lot of videos here.
Yeah, you really are.
I hope you write them down.
Yep, cool.
Kishoro guy, you didn't ask about Mega Drive. I'm disappointed you didn't ask about Mega Drive.
Well,
to be
I'll
fair,
ask,
we
Go
could
on then,
dedicate a
Sam.
whole podcast to that.
Go on, Sam. Give us your top 3 underrated or overlooked Mega Drive games. 3 only. You're restricted.
Wiz and Liz. Wiznliz. Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure.
Yes!
Yeah. And number 3, I've got to make this count now, haven't I? Shadow Dancer.
Oh.
Shadow Dancer.
See, I thought you was going to say Comic Zone.
No, because Comic Zone has sort of gotten a lot more coverage and a lot more people going, hey, look at this cool old game. Whereas, and that sort of put it in front of everyone's faces. It's like Zero Wing. No one knew what Zero Wing was back in the 90s. Everybody knows what it is now. I feel that's true for Comic Zone. Whereas
true.
I rarely, if ever, hear people talk about Wiz and Liz, Buster's Hidden Treasure, or Shadow Dancer.
Yeah.
I would have gone with Moonwalker.
Oh, also the Master System version of that is very, very good. The Master System version of Jungle Book is also incredibly good.
You know what I really enjoyed on Mega Drive was the Judge Dredd game.
Yeah?
That was actually really fun.
I have never played it.
It's kind of like shit. What's that cop game on the Mega Drive Ultimate Collection? The one
eSWAT.
that's it. It's kind of like eSWAT.
Oh, okay. eSWAT's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always kept looking at Robocop vs. Terminator in shops, but I never actually bought it.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing. I want
Yeah.
that now, just from the concept alone. Plus, I'm kind of hyped up because I saw Terminator Genesis last night. By the way, that's awesome, and I recommend it to everyone. If you've watched 1 and 2.
We're proper salesmen today.
Yeah, we really are.
Is there anything we won't plug?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
plugs.
yeah, well, Genesis was kind of like the Arkham Knight and
for
Metal Gear
yourself.
Solid 4.
The Arkham Knight and Metal Gear Solid 4 of the Terminators, okay.
Kind of, yeah.
We have a question 3, I believe.
We do,
Yes.
correct. Question 3. This is my favourite question. When will Lou Pacillo be a special guest on the British Gaming Podcast?
When he asks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask through Kishoro guy. I know you two are friends. Just come ask yourself. Come on.
We'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, when you do that, we'll talk.
Literally.
We'll get your people to contact our people.
We are our people.
Oh,
I was going to say, we have people.
We should get people.
Yeah.
No, we've got a Terry. That's fine. We'll just make him pick up all the shit work.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
not supposed to tell him that.
Like any paperwork or anything like that, I'll be like Terry.
Terry, the admin guy.
Yeah, Terry the admin guy, file this for me.
Right, question 4. What are some of your personal favourite Nintendo first or second party exclusives that are still overlooked or underrated?
Kirby Super Fun Pack on the Super Nintendo. That's got like a full-on Kirby game, then like a wrestling game and a bunch of other games. It's awesome.
I'm trying to think of any. It's
And
weird-
also
weird how
quite
your
topical
brain-
considering Satoru Iwata, recently
Yeah.
passed. I actually might play that tonight just in his honor.
So first party and third party Nintendo exclusives.
First or second?
Oh, what's second?
What is second party? Yeah.
That I don't know.
Would that be like
Answers on
something
a
that's licensed by
postcard.
Nintendo, but like made by a different developer, like how F-Zero GX was made by Sega?
Or how Super Smash Bros. Was made by HAL Laboratory.
You're pretty
or how
much there.
Pokemon is made by Game Freak.
According to Google, it's often used to describe 2 different types of game development studios. Independently owned studios who take development contracts from the platform holders, and what they produce will usually be exclusive to that platform. So,
Yeah, okay.
pretty much, yes.
But
So
these are
Smash
overlooked.
Bros. F-Zero.
Yeah, but these are overlooked ones that we got to answer, because otherwise
Yeah.
I'd be saying Hyrule Warriors because I love that game and I need to buy it and return my friend's copy. Otherwise, I won't want to return it.
I'm trying to think of
I-
any.
This is the thing. I grew up Sega. Richie grew up Sega.
I grew up Sega.
You grew up Sega.
Tell you what, there was a game on the Game Boy Color. I don't know if you ever played it. It was a Conker game before Conker's Bad Fur Day. and all
Conker's
that.
Pocket Tales.
Precisely that one.
Oh.
That was a really good game. Well, it didn't control brilliantly, but it was a fun game.
Oh, I actually quite
Pokemon
enjoyed
Puzzle
the
League.
Pokemon
Trading
Pinball.
Card game on the Game Boy Color.
Yes.
That is one of my favourite games of all time,
There
easily.
was a Japan-only sequel to that
I've
as
got
well.
it emulated on my phone. I've got it through Android. I play it sometimes when I haven't got internet access. That is my go-to.
Nice.
That is an absolutely
Oh.
brilliant game.
Pokemon
Yeah.
Shuffle. I mean, that's all right. I probably
Yeah.
play more of that than I should.
But to be fair, I wouldn't call that overlooked at the moment. Nintendo Street Pass, that's like ridiculously popular on that group, and I think a lot of communities have been talking about that a bit.
Pokemon Snap? No, that doesn't really count as overlooked.
Nah, that's
does
not
it?
overlooked.
No.
Nah, that got a Virtual Console release, so
Oh god.
And
right.
it needs a damn sequel.
yeah, it really does. Especially with the 3DS and Wii U. I mean, like the control schemes and everything could be really well utilized.
Why do these companies keep missing this?
Mystical
I-
Ninja Goemon?
If you say so.
Alright. I'm just trying to think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, all else I can think of, like I say, is Super Mario Land. I mean, but then I wouldn't really call that really particularly overlooked. So I
Super
suppose,
Mario Land 2 stomps all over the original.
oh, definitely.
Yeah. And honestly, I would probably have to take a pass on this question because I'm just not a Nintendo guy.
Yeah, I'm new to being a Nintendo guy. I've been like actually enjoying the hell out of my Wii U and 3DS, but I'm like late to
Nintendo
the party.
novice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess a pass on that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Um.
that was all the questions that we've got for this particular one.
Yeah, and naturally, the fact that one guy asked 4 questions and managed to get all 4 questions in means that if you've got a question you want to ask, your chances of getting it featured are pretty damn high. So comment away with your questions, and the likelihood is we'll be talking about them in a week's time.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think actually that about wraps it up for this week's podcast.
Apart from your question of the week.
Oh, my question of the week.
Come on,
Oh,
Sam, get it together.
yeah, no, absolutely. I completely forgot about that, and now you've blindsided me.
Come on, Webman.
Okay.
Come on, Sonic Boy.
Favorite limited edition purchase?
Oh, bloody hell.
Ooh. I mean, I haven't bought a lot of limited editions, but I'd say probably the most intricate one I have is Far Cry 4 big box one, the Kyrat edition that's got the statue and like the notebook and everything in it. I mean, that's pretty nice, but I'm torn between that and the Halo Reach limited edition.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna go with my Sonic Generations
I
limited
saw that
edition.
coming.
Big white fancy box, lovely hardcover art book, history of DVD, music CD, individually numbered gold ring, which isn't actual gold, but there you go. Big statue of modern and classic Sonic, exclusive holographic sleeve for the game case to sit in, Casino Night DLC, which is the only way to get the Casino Night DLC on console. You can get it for PC just as a purchase, but for some reason you can't buy it for console.
Oh, yeah, that's because the PC never got a limited edition.
$79.99, really reasonable price, and it's just massive and lovely. Yeah, I'm going with that. Richie?
Okay. Was really struggling with this question for a minute. I was like, keep talking, Sam. I can't think of anything.
And you can always trust me to keep talking, right?
Yeah, thankfully
Yeah.
you did. And I've managed to think. Literally, the only game I can think of that's been a limited edition that I've bought is one of the Sims 3 expansions, which was the Katy Perry one. The Katy Perry expansion for the Sims 3, which came with a exclusive guitar pick. And exclusive in-game content.
That is officially the best answer of any of these questions that we've had on any of these episodes.
And I'm sticking with
fucking
that.
crying, you bastard. Oh,
I feel no
need a
shame.
tissue.
I feel no shame.
A guitar. Richie's got his Sims 3 Katy Perry guitar pick, and he's very happy with it.
Maybe I'll have to hunt it down, and I'll post a picture of it somewhere.
That's it. I'm spent. I can't continue. I can't. I'm done.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up, Sam.
If you guys want to say goodnight to everybody, you go ahead. I'm just gonna be in the corner here.
Right. Bye, everyone.
We can't hold it together either. You broke us.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. This has been the British Gaming Podcast, as always. I'm sure we'll be back next week.
That was my fucking line, you prick.
Well, you don't sound like you're capable right now.